Youngsters, middlesters, oldsters, hello, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. How are you guys? I'm hoping that you answered. If you can't tell already, this is Mr. Day from the past. I'm just recording this video for our subs for our Monday and Tuesday. A huge thanks to Dr. Shepard for taking over for our classes for this time. And of course, hopefully as well, huge thanks to Miss Bounce, who is here today on Monday as we are getting into this video. Um, so, youngsters, middlesters, and oldsters, today we're just going to be rolling through a couple of lessons, talking about two main things today, and those, of course, being the dynamic ranges, and of course, the tempos that we use here inside the music world. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Oh, but before I continue on, just want to say my camera isn't really working very well, so instead, I have me in ghost form. Everyone say hi to Mr. Day's ghost. Hello, Mr. Day's ghost. I'm going to be inside ghost form, and I'll be wandering around on the screen, so just look out for me. Um, that's my ghost. Yes, it's true. I am now a ghost. So, check it out. Let's go ahead and begin. First off, there's many things that you see inside the music world. Um, Many written things inside the music, things that are literally on the page to tell you what you need to do. I wanted to start with just a quick review on some of the things, and I wanted to start with the changes of pitch with our accidentals. Everyone say accidentals. Accidentals. We have three that we use here inside the music world, and I wanted to talk a little bit about them to make sure that you guys are familiar with them. We talked a little about these guys when we were looking at the key signatures. I'm first starting with the one on the far left. That thing that looks like a B. That thing that you guys see over there is, of course, what we call flats. The one that's inside the middle, that kind of looks like a box and then two little sticks. That is a natural. And then lastly, the one that's a hashtag is, of course, the sharps. Talking about these guys, as we have mentioned before, flats over there on the far left would always lower a note by a half step or one step in this case. A natural would return any kind of note back to its original sound rather than being its flat or sharp. And then lastly, the sharp raises a note by a half step, and so on. We use these, of course, inside key signatures, but we also use them in just commonplace with the music to be able to tell for a specific note to be flat, sharp, or, of course, natural. And now the main topics of the day, dynamics. Everyone say dynamics. Dynamics. I hope that you guys are saying those words with me, by the way. I hope I'm not just saying them by myself on this recording. So, dynamics. There were six main ones that we will talk about today. Of course, there are more dynamics than what we are talking about here. We'll talk about those in just a second, but we're only looking at these six. We're going to start with the smallest one of the bunch. Oh, there I am, by the way, at the bottom of the screen. There I am, popping in. That's awesome. Check it out. This is our first one. PP. This stands for pianissimo. Everyone say pianissimo. Pianissimo, which means very soft. Whenever we sing at this dynamic, or if we're talking at this dynamic, or if we're playing at this dynamic, depending on what you're doing, you are going to be extremely soft, almost like a whisper. The next one, and you might be able to guess just based on the first one, is P, which is going to stand for piano, which means just soft. Everyone say piano, piano. It just means soft, nice and easy. By the way, Miss Bounds or Dr. Shepard, if they are not saying these things after me, pause the video and tell them to say the words. Hashtag LOL at AOL.com. The next one is MP. This is a slightly different one. We've talked a little bit about it before, but it's good to always go into a little bit more detail. This one is mezzo piano. Everyone say mezzo piano. Mezzo piano. This means, of course, to be somewhat soft or a little soft. This is usually your normal talking volume. This is how you would talk to your friends, of course, if you're having a normal conversation. Then we get into a little bit bigger territory. We get into MF, which is going to stand for mezzo forte. Everyone say mezzo forte. Mezzo forte. This, of course, means to be somewhat loud or big. I like to refer to the word big rather than loud. Does anyone think that they know why that I would say big instead of loud? Pause the video if you want to raise your hand and try. I know Miss Bounds knows my answer, and you're going to hear the answer anyways in a few seconds. We're going to Dora the Explorer this. Pausing right now. The reason why I say big instead of loud is because big is controlled, while loud is just being uncontrolled. It's just being obnoxious. It's like whenever you sing with a huge voice, it's still controlled with a nice, beautiful sound instead of just yelling straight on a crazy tone. Maybe Miss Bounds or Dr. Shepard could give an example. You do not need to. Anyways, I will always say big rather than loud. The next one is just a solid F. Um, F is just simply standing for forte. Everyone say forte, forte, which of course means loud or big inside this case. It's a solid dynamic. It's not too crazy. It's not the biggest that you can be inside the human voice, but it is very big. And then lastly is the double F, which of course, if you have been noticing with the trend, especially from the pianissimo, this is going to be fortissimo. Everyone say fortissimo. Fortissimo, which means, of course, very loud or very big inside this case. This is the biggest dynamic that you can get to in terms of the human voice. You could go even more beyond these dynamics with fortissimo, which is 3 Fs. And then if you keep on adding ECs to these things, then you can make them longer, like forte, EC, EC, ECmo. That would be the 4 Fs and so on and so forth. These are the natural dynamics for the human voice, but these can go beyond them because some instruments can get extremely loud, especially on the band and orchestra sides. That's not the only thing that dynamics are able to do. You also have crescendos and decrescendos. So, take a look at these alligator mouths. I always like to think of them as alligator mouths. That's how I always refer to them. Or you can refer to them as like the Pac-Man mouse, if any of you have ever played Pac-Man. How many of you have played Pac-Man, by the way? Raise your hands. I can't see your hands, but I'm assuming all of you raised your hands. Anyways, these things are going to tell you one specific thing, and that's, of course, you going from one dynamic to another, whether if you're going from soft to loud or if you're going from loud to soft. The one that's on the left is, of course, the crescendo. Everyone say crescendo. Crescendo. It's this guy that's right over here on the left side. Oh, I hope you guys can see my cursor. If you can, that's extra. It's green. I hope you guys can see it. Anyways, the one that's on the left is crescendo. This is going from soft to loud. It's very easy to be able to tell with these guys. You just look for the thing that's smaller. That's where you're going, where you're basically at the softer dynamic. And then when it grows, it means that you're growing with your volume and so on. And then, of course, you have the other side, which is the decrescendo. Everyone say decrescendo, decrescendo, which means, of course, from loud to soft. Now, that doesn't mean that you're always going from like a loud dynamic to a soft dynamic. You could literally be piano right here, and then you could go down to pianissimo. It basically means that you are getting softer. It doesn't mean you have to be loud at the start of a crescendo and so on and so forth. Next thing that we're talking about in terms of this music world is accents. And I'm not talking about your French or British accent. I'm not talking about your French or British accent. It is literally accents inside music where they look like these little alligator mouths that are sitting right below a note. Rather than one big old alligator mouth, we have these small ones that are sitting on one specific note. You guys would typically read this top measure as just 4 straight tas, ta, 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 ta. But when you have these accents, that means that some of them are going to be a little bit stronger than others. For instance, I'll let you guys try it out with one of our teachers, either Dr. Shepard or Miss Bounce. Feel free to pause the video right here and try out some of these rhythms. Pausing here. And welcome back. You guys sounded beautiful, I'm sure. If you didn't pause the video, by the way, LOL. That's what these accents do. They are going to cause the notes to be stronger than other notes. So beats one, what is going on there? Beats 1 and 3 are going to be stronger than beats 2 and 4 because of those accents, and so on. Our next thing that we're going to be talking about, and the last thing that we're going to be looking at today, is of course tempo, which is the speed of a song. It's basically a metric unit for time. Oh, sorry, is my ghost in the way? I'll shoo him out of here. Get out of here. There we go. So, tempo. We have a whole bunch of different ways of tempos in terms of reading these things, but we are only going to be looking at 6 of them today. These are the different tempos. There's a whole bunch going on here. With all these different tempos, we're going to be working from the fastest down to the smallest. So first thing that you guys have is the one that's on the top left right over here. This is Presto. Everyone say Presto. Presto. This is one of the fastest tempos that you can be able to go. It's 168 to around 200 beats per minute. Miss Bounds, or of course Dr. Shepard, there's a metronome that is sitting on the piano. You are free to show them what speed that this is at, and you are free to pause the video to be able to show them. You can pause right here. And now, hopefully, after you've heard how fast this is, it's a really fast tempo. One of the things that helped me remember it a lot when I was young, and I would love to know if you guys have actually heard this as well, is Little Einsteins. It used to be a cartoon show for like early mornings for little peoples, for elementary. I used to love that show. Oh my goodness. But they used to always talk about Presto. It was the fastest tempo whenever they rolled into it. Um, and now that you're getting more of an idea with the tempos, that you heard the beat, it's literally feeling the beat, it's the pulse of a song, and it's telling you what kind of speed that you're going to be going at. Our next run is going to be Allegro. Everyone say Allegro. Allegro. This is a really fast-paced tempo. It's not as fast as Presto, but it's just right below it. This is usually around 120 to 168 beats per minute. You can pause here to check it out on the metronome. Pausing. And welcome back. Allegro is still a really fast tempo, but of course, not as much as Presto. The next one is Moderato. Everyone say Moderato. Moderato. This one is, of course, at a moderate pace, which is really, really cool. I like how it's at a moderate pace, and its name is Moderato, LOL, which is around 108 to 120 beats per minute. By the way, if you've been wondering what these BPMs, I know I mentioned it twice with these things, but it's beats per minute. This is how many beats happen within a minute's time. So say like if you had 60 beats per minute, then that's 1 beat for every second, and so on. It's cool. It's extra. But a moderato, it's a moderate pace. Feel free to pause here to check it out. And welcome back. Our next one is Andante. This always made me think of jousting, like with swords and stuff. I know it's not, but I always thought that this word was fun. Andante, which is about a walking pace. So when you guys are like walking to classes, or if you're just walking down the halls, or if you're just walking out like at Zona Rosa or something, you will usually be walking at around Andante in terms of tempo, which is 76 to 108 beats per minute. Feel free to check it out on the metronome right here, pausing. And welcome back. Our next one is Adagio. Now we're getting a little bit slower. And in fact, even when you kind of say this word, you kind of say it slow, Adagio. You just feel like that you want to say it slower. It also kind of sounds like a spell in Harry Potter, I'm not going to lie. Adagio is nice, slow, and steady. This is around 66 to 76 beats per minute. We're almost to where we have 1 beat per second inside this tempo. Feel free to check it out on the metronome, pausing right here. And welcome back. And then the last one is, of course, Grave. It is not pronounced grave, sadly. But you can kind of think about a grave because it's like The Walking Dead. That's basically what's going on here. It's pronounced grave. Everyone say grave, grave. Um, Grave is the slowest tempo inside this whole entire thing. It's super, super slow. It's the slowest that you can go. It goes all the way down to 1 beat per minute, all the way up to the 76 beat per minute. Um, Feel free to check it out, and feel free to check it out with metronome at its slowest tempo. Feel free to pause right here. And welcome back. There are, of course, tempos that you have way more of. In fact, if you guys look from your perspective, if you look on the left side of the classroom where that gray block is, you guys will see over there a whole bunch of little music notations and all that kind of stuff. On the top left, you guys will see all of our tempos. There's many different tempos that are listed up there. You will see these six, but then there's a whole bunch that lie in between. But these are the main six that you guys will be learning here in terms of our sixth grade explorations of music. Lastly, but not leastly, you guys are actually going to be putting these to practice. You guys will be doing this inside a game of something that we call Doggy Doggy. It's a really, really fun game. You will notice that there is a blue ball that is sitting somewhere on my desk or somewhere inside the classroom where you guys will be able to grab it and use it as a bone, or at least a pretend bone. You guys are going to be participating inside this game where you guys will go through a song of Doggy Doggy. Um, Either Dr. Shepard or Miss Bounds will go over the song with you. As you guys begin inside this song, one person will be up at the front. They're not allowed to look at any of the people, look at any of the classmates, because that person is going to be what we call the doggy. Not allowed to turn around at all. You guys will sing through the song of Doggy Doggy, and one of you is going to be hiding that blue ball on you. As soon as the song is finished, the person can be able to turn around and try to see if they can guess who has the ball, only based on hearing the voices of the people. Keep in mind, when you say, I stole your bone inside this song, you can say it however you like, and I always would love for you to try to manipulate your voice to try to change the sound of it so that you can try to throw the person off to see how well you guys know each other's voices. Miss Bounds, you already know how this song goes, and you already kind of have a good idea of it. I'll let you take it away from here. Feel free to add in the dynamics and, of course, tempos into this just to practice them. And if it's only Dr. Shepard here on Monday, then please feel free to use this piano recording that I have right up here to be able to play. This presentation should be shared with you, or it should be on the flash drive. If not, I will play it right now, and then you can restart the video to go with this accompaniment. I will play it now. You guys will spend the rest of the class focusing on this song and trying to see if you can throw off the people. Good luck, and of course, have fun. Thank you, youngsters, middlesters, and oldsters. Make sure you don't do anything crazy.